Hello, 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 hello. Hi there. We are back once again. I think with a working mic. Yes. Hello. How
I
how is everybody doing tonight? How are you doing tonight, Frank?
I'm doing great, and yes, your microphone is working.
Hooray! I did it again. I don't know why my camera's flicking, but it just likes to do that. Anyway, welcome back to our lovely stream that we have. We try to have every week. Unfortunately, last week Frank was a little encumbered with the actual job, and I was a little bit encumbered due to Nurgle. So, but we are back this week to go over all of the lovely, fun things we normally do with some updates, some news, and all that other fun stuff.
Yep, it's going to be fun. I haven't been up to too much, but I definitely have some stuff we can talk about.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. I have some stuff as well. Well, let's start with my stuff, I guess, since I have it up here. We are going to take a look at what I have been working on recently in the last 2-ish weeks. It's not going to look like a lot, but I guarantee you I've been doing a lot of stuff. Um, First up, I have finished up these Red Butchers. They are World Eaters Terminators.
I love that first picture there. It's like, come give me a hug.
Oh, yeah. These are for our good friend Dom. He is a local player, and he has once again entrusted me to paint some of his models. If anybody has any questions regarding this, these are level 1 paint jobs. So, if you are looking for a level 1 paint job, this is pretty much what you get. This is the tabletop.
Well, for being tabletop's quality, that they're really quite good.
Yes, they do have a little bit of shine. This is pre matte varnish, but yeah, these are pretty much done. I think I need to do, if you look here, the plasma on this combi weapon, which doesn't actually do a plasma anymore. But hey, whatever. But yes. And then next was the other ones that I did for him. These are all also called Red Butchers. They're a specific like Horus Heresy type unit from and Dom said these were supposed to be like transitionary uh, Marines or models, so that's why it's a mix of the newer armor and the older armor. We have here, like we have the Horus Heresy era Terminators. These are, and they all have like their torsos are red, and then the rest is white, and then their hands and feet are supposed to be soaked in blood and gristle and gruel and stuff like that. So, um, but I went ahead and also he said to add a little bit of blue for the World Eaters. So that is what I did for the tabards. It came off looking very American. These are very freedom oriented Terminators.
Well, it's actually honestly what Corn's all about is freedom
True.
and prevailing in the it's freedom through hard work and struggle. That's what Corn's all about. So it makes sense in a convoluted way, but it does. I think it's called is it Tartarus pattern Terminator armor. I think it is.
Or yeah, or is this Cataphracti?
I I don't know. I don't think it's Cataphracti. Uh, now I'm curious. Let's see. Oh, it is Cataphracti. No,
It
not
is,
bad.
it is quite funny how it went from this to this, but I mean aside from the chaos embellishments, but you know
Oh, okay. So the Tartarus pattern has rounded. Okay, yeah, okay. The Tartarus pattern is they've got they're very similar. They just don't have like those like the shoulder pads come down just a bit more.
Oh,
They
okay.
they look like they literally look like miniature contemptor dreadnoughts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, these are his Red Butcher Terminators that he wanted to use for BFS.
Nice.
So I did a rush order for him.
Yeah, it's a shame I was supposed to go to BFS this year, but I had some stuff going on at work that I had to cancel my trip out there.
Hmm. Oh, looks like did my camera freeze? I think my camera froze. Oh,
Oh, it definitely did.
oh. Let me see if I can fix that. That's not good. Proper try. And then we go to do the bit. There we go.
Oh, there's that pretty face.
Only a mother could love.
The camera's not flicking anymore.
Oh yeah. Solving problems. That's what we're doing. What next up? What else have I worked on? Here is a work in progress picture of them. This was something I sent to Dom to get approval. So that's another thing I like to do is once I have pretty much finished like the first model, somebody sent me like a unit. I try to send them this like the test. The test model. This is like what is this good? Is this what you wanted? When do I need to change stuff like that? Because if I needed to do excuse me, some drastic changes, I would like to know now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you see it. You need to send them the concept model so that they know what they're going to be getting, and then if they don't like it, well, you approved it.
Mm-hmm. This is just from the rear. And then these are other things I was working on. This being a Dark Angels Land Raider.
It is definitely a Land Raider, and it's definitely Dark Angels.
Oh, yeah. Then this was just my airbrush. my airbrush booth the other day when I was, going through. I had like half a day of just airbrushing. My back still hurts. You could see all the Terminators in there. There are some Blood Angel Hell Blasters. There's two different Shatterpoint kits. The like Jedi Hunters Squadron and the Mace Windu kit. There are some Dark Angels Outrider bikes in the back there. And then there are also Dark Angel Eradicators mixed in somewhere. There's just a whole bunch of stuff I was doing.
Oh, the Eradicators are right there, right in the middle.
Oh, yep, there they are.
It's like a weird game of Where's Waldo. Where's the Eradicator?
Yeah. But you can see here's the Clone Troopers, Inquisitor, and Mace is in there somewhere. And then these were a whole bunch of bases that I did for those Outriders. The bases were quick and easy, so
I see your... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, all of my orcs and all of my brothers' Dark Angels are based like this. They are the street bases.
Yeah, I say you still stick with the theme of the orcs versus the Dark Angels and the on those street bases, yeah.
Yep. These aren't fully done, but I was quite impressed with my line work. So, I was pretty much just doing this to show Kyle, but I was like, let me put these up as well. So, now a lot of the stuff that's covering the lines, that's dirt and stuff. So I have that on there now. But yeah. And then what else? Oh, this was just me working on the lion. Lion number 2, Electric Boogaloo. I also have number 3 on my desk as well.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing a fair bit of the line, I think, in this stream today.
Yes. And then if we look here, we can pop this up. This is the current Dark Angels Land Raider. Just an in progress pic I put on the story.
Very nice.
I also have those Blood Angels Hellblasters on my desk now. Yes, Blood Angels Hellblasters. They are from as well as the Star Wars stuff, are all from Fabricators Forge. The owner, Dom. If anybody is out in Pittsburgh and is looking for a place to play or buy stuff, I thoroughly endorse going to the Fabricators Forge. It is a one-stop shop, honestly, because that is one hell of a gaming space they have there.
Mm-hmm. I think we've talked about his game space more than a few times, and I always love going to his shop whenever I have the opportunity to.
Oh yes, I just need to mention I'm always more than appreciative for the business. He pretty much gave me the Shatterpoint kit to do before it even came out, so I enjoy working on his stuff, and he has a lot of Blood Angels. I also have a Storm Speeder I got to work on for him as well. But yes, and that is it for me. Aside from planning on some more, I got some more Dark Angels vehicles coming in the months coming up.
Very cool. Is this more stuff for Kyle, or is this going to be a new client?
No, this is for a client of mine, Phil from Nova.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, Phil. Okay, I know Phil.
yeah. I did his avatar a while back as well.
Yeah, Phil is one of the TOs for Nova. Him and Sam are pretty much running as co-leads, I think, at this point in time. And I've had the pleasure of working with Phil the last couple of years at the Nova Open. So he, after TOing this particular GT, he felt much more inspired to get back into playing again, which is fantastic.
Oh yeah, he's more than once changed up his what's it called, his army list, and I have been working on it.
Oh, nice.
Originally, the Lion was going to be in the list, and then the 3 Eradicators were going to be in the list, and now it's no longer the Lion, but there is a Land Raider, and I am currently still delivering him a Lancer for my brother that he's borrowing. So,
Well, sounds like the more and more he changes the list, the more and more opportunities you have.
that's what I said. But yes. So yeah, Phil. Half the Dark Angel stuff's for Phil, half of it's for Kyle.
So, going back to some of the work they've been doing, so what was your approach to painting the world leaders the way that you did the Red Butchers?
So
you said it was a level 1, but
so actually, he sent me a way that he wanted me to do it. Like he sent me a video on how he wanted it done, but I kind of extrapolated it out, especially since I didn't have those exact colors. So essentially what it is as I normally do, I prime everything black. I primed them all black. And then I came back and I did I went over all the black with a darker gray. Just from just keeping out of the absolute recesses. And then did a Zenithal to pretty much a covering of white to try and pick stuff out. And from there I did another coat of white over where they're supposed to be white, just painted it on just to make sure it brightened it up. And then I did all the base colors. Essentially, it was it's Mephiston red, a mix of scale 75 blues for the blue. I used Skull Crusher brass for all the metal, well, all of the gold metal. What is it? Vallejo Game Color khaki for all of the bone.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just metal color steel for any of the rest of it, and the black is done with Black Templar, as you do, because Black Templar is like the greatest color ever.
Certainly is one of the best blacks you can use, at least as far as Citadel is concerned.
Yes. And then what I went through and did was after that, and this is the tip I got from the thing, it was an all-over wash, aside from the bone, with a 50-50 mix of, what was it, Agrax Earthshade, and then, because I didn't have the specific one, I did Drakenhof Nightshade,
Hmm.
50-50 mix of that, and then a half of the mix was lobby and medium. So it was more like it was two parts Dragonhof, 2 parts Agrax to 1 part Lamy and medium.
So we have a question here from Jared. Do you generally zenithal everything? Do you do any other pre-painting things to help get a read on the model or set up your paint jobs normally? So I do have a bit of an answer to that, but you do more airbrushing. So I guess you can go ahead and tackle that one initially.
Generally, depending on what it is, depending on what tier or how nicely I'm trying to do it, or what the color is, I generally do a zenithal for everything. Even if the zenithal ends up being just that first like layer because the model is white. But I do generally prime everything unless this model is going to be bright. Prime everything black and zenithal white. If I am getting a little bit more into it, I will zenithal with gray, and by zenithal with the gray, I generally just try to keep out of the very deepest recesses with the gray, and then I do the from the top white. Now, for example, I'm working on the Grand Inquisitor and the other Inquisitors from the Jedi Hunting Pack from Shatterpoint, which I can actually pull that up here. This one. So for this one, for example, this was a prime black and then highlight with the gray, or zenithal with the gray, and that was it. There was no white zenithal at all because they're just such dark models. But the gray at least lightens it up enough that like the Grand Inquisitor's head, which is like a very very light gray, will cover the dark gray better than it would cover the black. But generally, yes, I will zenithal almost everything. Even if you don't see it at the end, I like to do it just for my own reference as well.
I do something similar when I'm prepping a piece. I don't do a lot of I don't do any airbrushing, at least not yet. But I will, if I'm prepping a piece for a competition, which we'll be talking a little bit more on later. But when I'm prepping a piece for a competition, I will try to zenithal some areas. It maybe not necessarily zenithal highlight, but I might do controlled angles just so I can see where my high points are and where I need to apply highlights. And I'll take the primed model or the black and gray model, and I will put it in my photo booth, and I'll take photos of that to have for reference as I'm painting, so I know exactly. So I can try and follow the angles of light that I'm trying to go with. But then after that, I'm painting it I'm painting it all over with opaque paints anyway, so it doesn't really help that much in terms of what I do. I just use mine more as a guide or a blueprint as opposed to influencing the actual paint itself.
Now, I will also say that I do use it sometimes to influence the actual final product. Not all the time, but sometimes, and that's when especially when I'm doing vehicles, was when I'm filtering. I do a lot of filtering, mostly because it's fast and it looks good. But you can see, for example, here, a lot of this initially, the green and the black was filtering on this Chaplain bike. You can kind of see it in a few spots here, like right here. A lot of this was filtered first. It was done with the black, and then I did a gray zenithal, and then I went back over it with a it's called Ghost Tint by Minotaur, um, for all the green. I actually picked out the points I want it to be green with the white, and went over it with the ghost tint to get that effect. I do that with a lot of things, but especially vehicles because it comes out looking really nice on vehicles. Like this was done with that same sort of method, and you can see the results on this Lancer. So it's not always for that, but sometimes Zenithals can just help to filter. But yeah, that's
Well, thanks for the question, Jared. We really do appreciate it.
yeah. All right, and that's pretty much it. No problem. That's pretty much what I got as far as new stuff working on, aside from the backlog of commissions. Um, with a happy to say so far a 7.5 month pregnant fiance. So.
Ooh, 7.5 months already.
Oh
Jeez.
yeah, little Phoebe's coming soon. She's kicking Mila in the ribs
Oof.
and every other organ she has. That little girl wants out.
Sorry, excuse me there for a second, being off camera. Well, that's pretty cool. Looks like you got a lot done. You know, that World Beaters Army, the Red Butchers, is coming along quite nicely.
Oh yes. Yep. And they are all done. I'm actually just waiting to finish them up. Well, a couple of little things here and there, and then Dom, who will be taking that, and the Land Raider up to BFS because that is where Phil was getting the handoff.
Nice. I just gotta say, looking at the picture of the Cataphractii Terminator, making sure I get the right Terminator pattern there, I definitely recognize where those bases are. I've painted enough of them to know.
Yep. I believe those are Marvel Crisis Protocol.
Yep. Yeah, those are all MCP bases. I've got like a shoebox filled with them because they always give you twice as many bases as you actually need for options.
Yep.
I thought to myself, man, I wonder if I can save these or hold on to these to use in some sort of 40K related project in the future.
Oh, Dom did. Aside for this middle one, I believe this was a resin base on top of a regular base. Like it was a smaller resin base, but I just built up around it so that
Okay.
it looks a little better. He was asking if I could do anything to try and I zhuzhed it up.
It's very zhuzhed.
Yes. But yeah, no, they plus I think he wanted them to be a little taller because they're not as tall, but as the regular termies.
Ooh. Have you had? I just saw your picture there and your last thing you posted for your Instagram. Have you had the opportunity yet to get your hands on any of the new Norn models yet, or?
No, I funny enough, for as much as I've been doing this, I have not gotten a single Tyranid model to
Oh,
paint.
really?
Yes, I have never gotten a Tyranid model. I don't think I've ever technically actually painted a Tyranid model for anything.
I kind of feel with some extent, I do know a couple of Tyranid players that aren't like this, but I kind of feel like there are certain armies that if you're choosing a particular army or a faction, you're choosing it. Like I think a lot of people choose it because like it's something that they're passionate about. And I feel like kind of like how orc players are very dedicated to their army. I kind of feel like the same about Tyranids. I think most Tyranid players are very dedicated to their army and to the hobby side of it.
I could see that because I mean I have I rarely do I get people who are like, I want you to paint Tyranids. Marines I get. Everyone who plays this game has at least one Space Marine model buried somewhere. Same thing with even to a point with orcs, but like just if you play Tyranids, that is your army. And most of these people, because they're also organic, so they're fairly easy to paint, regardless of what you might think of something newer, bigger model like this Norn Emissary. Like it realistically, it's really easy to paint and make look at least decent. It's
especially
not,
especially if you're just trying to shoot for a tabletop quality.
Oh yeah, it's not like it has a bunch of it's not power armor or something orky that has pieces of like every other army strapped to it for no reason. I like it's yeah, they're very it's the organic of it. They're very they're they're the army that it's very easy to go, okay, I'm gonna prime the whole army white, and then I could just wash the
Mm-hmm.
army and it'll look decent. Or that they're the prime applicants for using I think contrast paints the way they had originally intended them to. Like
I still think that the if you're going to do contrast paints of any type, pre-shading or slap chopping, if you want to use that term, I think is always the best way to go with them.
oh no, I agree, but if there's one army that is that you can apply the original method they were saying to use
Mm-hmm.
them for, it's Tyranids.
Oh yes, for Tyranids, yes, I agree.
And so I'm guessing it's so easy to make Tyranids look good. I don't know. Nobody ever wants me to paint their Tyranids.
Again, I think it's more like it's an army that people choose because they're passionate about it. It's not like, and I don't mean any offense to anyone out there who plays these armies. It's just, my general experience is that when people typically go into these armies, they're doing it because maybe some meta based influences there, or some motivation. I want to say meta motivation. The most common armies like your Space Marines, your Eldar right now in particular, Tau. I think those are armies that people tend to want to gravitate towards, and they're like, well, I kind of like the army that's more of a competitive choice.
Yeah, I obviously, aside from the fact that they are the lion's share of the models,
Oh, of
Marines tend
course,
to
yeah.
be the ones I get the most, but followed up by Knights and obviously like Custodes.
Which is surprising. I would think that most people who play Custodians are like, especially Custodians, because I think they're probably the simplest army to get to a battle ready standard, or at least a tabletop standard.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, it takes a lot of effort to make them look really good. Um, I had a rough experience with somebody at Nova in terms of some drama between regarding a Custodes player and
Hang on one
more
second.
of
I'll
the
be right back. You keep going.
oh well. To finish what I was saying, I know there was a Custodes player who painted a really really gorgeous army, did a wonderful job, um, and he did a lot of work to make his army competitive, viable in a competitive painting situation. And when he beat out somebody, it was a little contentious. The other person was just like, he just painted gold, but I'm like, yeah, well, he painted the gold really really well. So it's one of those armies that easy to get involved with initially to paint, but tough to get perfected. Custodes and Necrons, spray metallic, 90% done. Yeah, depending upon how you want to approach your metallic. Um, I think if you're just going for basic, bare bones, no pun intended, with the Necrons, it would make sense that you'd want to just start and build your way up from a metallic base primer. I don't think. I don't know. I think that just spraying gold and calling it a day can be a little misleading. I like to go through a number of different steps with my gold, at least if I'm painting them for my actual army. Yeah, that's the way with any painting. I mean, one of the biggest pieces of advice is I give to players that want to get better with their painting, or hobbyists. I don't want to say players necessarily, but hobbyists, is practice the initial 80% of your painting. The faster you get the initial 80%, which is going to be the bulk of your work, like your base coating, your shading, getting things to a fairly decent standard relatively quickly, then you can have more time to work on the last 20%, which is what's going to push it to being a higher end piece.
Push
So,
it to the limit.
welcome back, TJ.
Yes. Sorry about that. Cat's not supposed to be up here. The cat wandered in. Stupid cat. I'm not a cat person, but anyway. Let me see. You guys talk about yes, with metallics and necrons and custodes. I still prime everything black. Whether it's because I like having that nice dark undercoat to start, or it's because the primer I buy is not actually primer, but the like $1.50 can of matte black paint, spray paint that you get from Lowe's.
Yeah, it's like $10 for a case of 9.
Yeah, something like that. I don't
Yeah,
know. Last time I went, I just got 2 cases.
I actually like that rattle can in particular because not the rattle can, but the paint itself. Because if I'm doing work with colored primers, um, I'll spray prime with like an army painter color primer, and then if I want darker tones and shadows, I can almost just like kind of finesse that
Yeah,
as
yeah, yeah.
like a pre-shade. I've done some pretty fun fades with that actually.
Yeah, I had but the only problem with that stuff is that the paint won't stick to it very well normally.
Yeah, you do have to probably matte spray that afterwards, just so it has some tooth.
Yes, yes.
It's for being a matte paint, it is not very matte.
No. I mean, but for like $1.50 a can, I am not complaining one bit. But yes, it will require a matte. I mean, you get a can of that, and then you get a can of like the matte spray from like Krylon or something like that. And okay, we might be pushing $4 now, per like can, as opposed to the GW one that's like $20 a can. So
I
I'll
will say, it's funny is like I always felt the same way, and then one time I had to buy a can of primer to do something, and I just had to get primer very quickly. So I'm like, whatever, I'll just buy the Citadel primer while I'm here at my local game store. Uh, it makes you realize actually how good their primer really is. Is it worth the price? I don't know, but it really is good primer.
Oh no, I don't get me wrong. It is. I will say that it's quality, but uh, for getting something that's a quarter of the price, I'm just. Mm-mm. It is It is quality, but the price is just not there for me.
Fair enough. I've actually been experimenting with more. My wife and I were at Target, and there was some. I think I actually have it like right here. Excuse me while I go
Excuse me
back.
while I whip this out.
Uh, you're not too far off. Where's that can? All right. So apparently, I don't know what I did with it. It's got to be around here somewhere. As I'm.
Well, whilst he searches, to march further down that rabbit hole a little bit for the metallic armies. Now, what I do like to do, though, is after I've hit them with the black, I use this lovely stuff right here, metal color, whether it is the steel, which is actually my favorite one, and doesn't come in the 4-pack, or it's one of the other ones. That's what I hit, especially when I want to make something that one of those metallic armies look good. I go with one of these after the black. And then for the Necrons that I've done, it is steel or jet exhaust all over. And then you hit from the top either the burnt metal or the chrome. And instant shading, zenithal shading. Zing, bang, you done. If you look at, let me pull up. Like literally the background here. All of these Necrons is what I did, and it comes out fantastic.
So, are you a bigger fan, just out of curiosity? Because I know some people like to put metal varnish or gloss varnish, or even like maybe a sending gloss on on the metallics. Do you prefer to have your TMM as matte as possible, or do you actually put like a type of gloss on it, or do you just
Unless
kind of
it's
leave it
something,
at?
unless it's something super duper like special, I usually just mat it. I mean, these are all level 1 to be fair, but even for this guy, which was one of the lords for a command barge. The only time I will really gloss something is like these orbs and any of the power weapon stuff. So like the headdress is done like the power weapons. The actual the actual scythe here. Well, it's not a scythe, but you get what I'm saying. This part of the weapon, this is our gloss varnish. I
I
typically
actually think they're called war scythes. Actually,
what's that?
I think they are called war scythes.
That might be a war scythe. I wasn't sure if that was a war scythe or a staff of light.
Well, it maybe I'm not sure. I just know that Necron lords tend to have war scythes.
Um, but yeah, I typically do not do any gloss varnish unless it is like an orb, a power weapon, a gem, something that needs to like be put slobber, slime, acid, stuff like that.
When you're trying
Water.
to convey a certain texture, basically.
Yeah, metal. It's yeah. It doesn't need to, especially on Necrons. It's not something that needs to be picked out. We all know they're metal, like. So I typically will just matte varnish that.
Yeah, I've never I've tried doing the whole putting gloss varnish over true metallic paints, and I was never a big fan of it. It just didn't seem to quite look so great in my opinion.
I'm not a fan.
Well, even after you mat it down, the mica flakes in the paint still convey a certain degree of luster, so I think it still
Oh
works.
yeah, no,
Even, even
they still have that little bit of a shine to them. It just doesn't. It's not the glossy shine, but you can
right,
still tell that they're metal. Like this guy is matte varnished, and you can still see the flecks and stuff.
right. Well, that was interesting. A side topic.
Yes. But yes. All right. Well, anyway, let us. Oh, did you find your rattle can?
I think I didn't want to go searching for it, but my wife and I we have a craft cart that we keep all of our spray paints in. So I think it's somewhere over in the corner of my kitchen
Oh, okay.
behind a pile of cardboard that we have been meaning to recycle now for weeks.
I feel that. I feel that.
So I have
Um,
to go through and clean out that corner.
yes. I will say that the other 10% though can really push the Yeah, I mean, I can say that the last 10% of whatever color you're doing for the metallic armies will push it, but there's a lot of highlighting you can do with metals. It's just sometimes it's difficult. I'm better at yellow metals than I am white metals, so because usually I end up using a little bit of white metal to highlight my yellow metals. So sorry, I just felt like I needed to finish up that this question here. Anyway,
So actually, just one last little note on this. My wife Sarah bought for me this past Christmas or the Christmas before a box of some funky colored Army Painter metallics, like violet metallic and like electric blue metallic and stuff like that. They're actually really quite fun to do wet blending with. You can do some really fun like iridescent effects with it.
ooh, okay,
Yeah, I did my casual Eldar army. I did some all their power weapons and blades and stuff. I did with that colored metallics as a little bit of a wet blend. A lot of fun.
nice, nice. But yeah. Well, let's take a look at what we have in the latest stuffs. We have a number of things. They're going through a lot of the Space Marines, which are due out next
Do you
weekend.
actually do you want to go over the AMG stuff real quick because it's a little bit smaller and you
Oh,
can.
yes, we can. Let's go because that's the one I'm more involved with. We have Shatterpoint and a number of new kits coming out.
I love the naming convention for some of these. Like the Mace Window one just cracks me up. This party's over.
Nice. Which is a Dathomir. We Are Brave squad pack.
I will say that Amidala model looks pretty fire.
Yes, that does look pretty fire. I mean, not as much as the Cad Bane, but
No.
I would like more Cad Bane in my Star Wars, please. I realize spoilers, he died, but I would just like more Cad Bane, please. Even if it's like pre-Clone War stuff, I just like Cad Bane. And then the Jedi Hunters one, which again, this is one that I am currently working on for Fabricator's Forge. Interesting to note, they do have two separate heads for the Grand Inquisitor and the Seventh Brother. One that looks like the animated and one that looks like the live action. So
it is interesting.
So the animated one is a bit longer, like the head's a little longer, to show the exaggerated features from like the animated one, and then same thing with the Seventh Brother, and then the other one is a little rounder to show like that they needed to have an actual human in the thing doing it. So.
Oh, that's pretty cool. They went with I can't remember her name, but they went with the third sister from the Obi-Wan series.
Yep.
That's neat. Reva, that's her name, Reva. Okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah, they look pretty good. I like them.
Yeah. I don't know the fourth sister. She must have been in one of the video games.
Wasn't the fourth sister the one that was it's gonna drive me nuts. I can't remember the actress's name. It's gonna come to me later. The actress
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah.
That was like, oh no, it's the fifth brother. It was the seventh sister. It was the seventh sister that was in Rebels.
Okay. Gotcha.
Which was really funny because when it was the seventh sister and Kanan Jarrus talking, Kanan Jarrus was done by Freddie Prinze Jr. So they were husband and wife. So I thought that was funny. But yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised they went with third sister considering fifth brother, and they didn't put in seventh sister because the neckbeards get mad at third sister. But
I would guess it's probably more of a tie-in to try and keep the newer series a little bit more relevant.
Still wondering if they're going to do a season 2, which I hope so. I actually really liked the first season.
That picture is so photoshopped. The one that you're showing right now.
Oh yeah. Also, speaking of which, the new Ahsoka series is so good.
We haven't watched an episode of it yet.
Oh God, it's so good.
Yeah, I'm excited. Not this weekend, but next weekend. Because I still technically have the weekend off for BFS, but I just have to be local in case something happens at my office, which is the work thing I was referring to. But if I don't have to be, the plan is that we're supposed to binge Ahsoka over the weekend, and maybe I'll use that as an opportunity for some inspiration to work on my Shatterpoint box finally, or we might be working on some MCP stuff while we're doing it. So it'll be a fun weekend either way.
At the very least, the Shatterpoint stuff goes together a lot nicer.
Yeah, well, you don't have to glue an earlobe onto a model.
There are some tiny points, and I get really scared when we're talking about the lightsabers because they are thin. But other than that, yeah. But look at him! Look at him! I love Cad Bane. I wonder if they have different heads for him too. That'd be cool.
I might show it if they have the assembly instructions. They do have the assembly instructions. No. Looks like he only has the one head.
No, only has the one head. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, this is him when he was way younger anyway, so... because when he shows up in Boba Fett. He's a lot older.
Right.
Anyway, sorry for me nerding out about Star Wars stuff. But yes, this
Oh,
is
how dare you nerd out during this nerd-based stream?
right. It doesn't make any sense. And then, yeah, I am impatiently awaiting the ability to paint this kit. Not because of any of these. I could care less about any of these. Just because I want to paint Grievous.
Oh, come on! You want to paint the battle droids? I know you do.
I've already painted a set of them.
Yeah, but you want to paint the big ones.
Oh, the B2 super battle droids? No, I don't care about painting the B2 super battle droids. I just want to paint General Grievous.
That Wishes of Dathomir pack looks really cool too.
Yes, it does. I like the smoke and stuff. But anyway, and then we have some MCP stuff coming out. Number one, the Earth's Mightiest core set, which is a redone core set. Which I may look into picking up at some point.
Oh, it's such a blast. I think with the way things are going right now, at least again, I keep mentioning my wife a lot in the stream. We happen to play this game together, and I think this year coming up is probably going to be one of my more MCP focused years.
Mm-hmm.
We're even talking about because she's supposed to come with me to Adapticon this year. And I think this year, in terms of event play, I may focus on MCP because she's going to be with me, and I think it'd be a fun experience for the two of us to play in a big tournament together like that.
Ooh. Sounds like it. Looks like we have the Earth's Mightiest core set, which is just the new core set. I can click on them all in a minute. And then we have Claw and M'Baku. Ulysses Claw. This was he did not look like this in the movie, in case anyone is wondering. Andy Serkis played him in the movie. But yes, it is Ulysses Claw right there in M'Baku. His power set was also vastly different in the comics. And then we have Cosmic Ghost Rider, which is a thing I didn't know existed.
I cannot say I'm too up to snuff on the lore when it comes to Cosmic Ghost Rider. But yeah, that's
it's certainly
model looks really cool.
Yes, it looks like he's got some sort of asteroid as the front wheel. The Immortal Hulk, which is, Hulk. MODOK.
Oh. Actually, I'm sorry, 1 second here. Cosmic Ghost Rider is Frank Castle in a different timeline, resurrected by Mephisto. So this was a Ghost Rider that was Frank Castle that killed Thanos in his timeline.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I love comics. I do love comics. It's just some of this stuff gets nuts. MODOK. It's MODOK. He's obviously the greatest character that's ever existed. He's just a giant head in a chair with baby legs. And then
I can't say it on stream, but I'll have to tell you later about a thought that I had about that MODOK model.
And then we have, this is what's in the Earth's Mightiest core set, which I love the title. It looks like we got Cap, the Winter Soldier, Spider-Man, Captain Marvel, Iron Man, and Black Widow facing off against Doc Ock, the Red Skull, Ultron, Baron Zemo, Ultron bots, and I think, is it Crossbones?
It's Crossbones.
Yeah, Crossbones. Yeah. He's just, in this first picture, he's in the foreground here, so you can't really tell. But yeah, it's Crossbones.
This is just basically a redone or souped up version of the original core set. All the characters that are in here, with the exception of two of the models, I should say, not necessarily characters, but Captain America, Spider-Man, Captain Marvel, Iron Man, and Black Widow were all in the original. Same for Doc Ock, Ultron, Red Skull, Baron Zemo, and Crossbones. The two new additions are Winter Soldier on the Avengers side and the Ultron bots on the Cabal side. I'm not sure if it's considered technically Cabal, but
Oh, and
yeah.
there's a Venom symbiote on his base too. That's neat.
Oh, I didn't notice that. That's pretty cool.
There are two Captain Marvels?
So in this one, yes, there's two Captain Marvel model kits from what I read, because there's I think they preview her. Yes, so it's her binary form when she goes all Super Saiyan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the binary form is the one that's higher up, and she's got the red helmet and the mohawk thing going on.
And I'm glad we are in the right company for you to say when she goes Super Saiyan, and I completely understand.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey, listen, if there is ever the Captain Marvel movie is a great proof of concept. Can't say I was a huge fan of the Captain Marvel movie. It was good. I didn't hate it, but when the end scene finally happened, I'm like, man, I really wish they would do a good Dragon Ball Z movie.
hey, man, the One Piece show was really good, so who knows?
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but maybe I will.
I will, like, it made me start watching the anime. Like, I never watched it before.
Well, cool. I'll have to
And
check it out.
2 weeks after it came out, and I am 130 episodes in.
Yeah, I've been there.
There's 1,000 episodes. Anyway, but yes, this is a very cool core set. I might have to pick this up. It has a couple of my favorites in here, so
It's a they have it's such a rabbit hole, because you'll buy a Marvel box or a kit, like you're like, oh, I want to build Asgardians, for example, and you're like, okay, cool, I have Asgardians.
mm-hmm.
You start looking through the Asgardians core set, you're like, I got Thor, I got Loki, I got Hela, and I got Angela. And you're like, oh, okay. Well, you start realizing, oh, well, Valkyrie. Valkyrie is also in there too, I believe. But you're like, oh, Valkyrie is also part of another faction. And you're like, okay. And then you realize, oh, I have got Valkyrie, and I've got this other model that's also part. Well, let's start building into this faction, and then it leads into another faction, and it leads into another faction, and then you're staring at three custom-built magnetic cases sitting next to your desk, just packed full of Marvel Crisis Protocol minis, and you're thinking, man, I really need to get more storage because I want more.
It's like they knew what they were doing.
I know. We actually just picked up the new Squirrel Girl and Gwenpool kit for Sarah's A-Force. See, I got Squirrel Girl right here. Squirrel Girl. I can't really make her out super well. Oh, this is what I've been working on too, sitting here at my desk. I've been just kind of futzing around with this Malekith model. It's very cool. Giant flying tiger.
Oh right, the Malekith. That's right. I forgot he's on like a chimera type of thing. And it's just big for no reason. Why Mysterio and Carnage? Why are these two in? That doesn't make any sense. Okay.
Spider foes.
But they're not. Okay.
Again, it's just the way that they do. So they fit together somewhat thematically. At least they are somewhat thematic, because like you get some really odd pairings sometimes with these kits. Like you see like Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. Makes sense. They can both be Brotherhood of Mutants, their brother and their sister.
Yeah.
Cool. Gambit and Rogue makes sense. Lizard and Craven, also, Spider foes.
Sin and Viper, Mordo and Ancient One. Yeah, yeah.
You do get some that are just really strange. I can't think of any off the top of my head that. Probably the X-Men. Like one of the strangest ones that you can get is it's not super strange, but it's kind of strange. We get Beast and Mystique. both are mutants, sure, but they're also two completely different. One's Brotherhood of Mutants, one's X-Men. It's kind of also done in a way to try and promote people mix and matching their faction pieces.
Right. Huh. Yeah. Right. So that's the Crisis Protocol stuff. Nice. All right. Well, let's head back over to GW for now. Whew. Let's take a look. See now, they've been going through a lot of the Space Marines stuff, and we've gone over the new models when it came out at Nova. So don't need to real rehash there, though I will say that I do like the homages to the older models. But we do have a rumor engine. This one's from last week. And this one is 40K. Because that's an alien skull. I believe.
I'm not sure what that could be if it's 40K. I mean, it could kind of sort of looks like a Zangerfoot, but I don't know.
Either way, it's orcs. But
either way, it's orcs. Yeah. Yep. Are there any type of cycloptic thing monsters in Age of Sigmar that are standoutish?
It's big. There's the Cygor, but that's a large monster. I don't know. I mean, okay. So it could be a Plague Bearer skull, because Plague Bearers are Cyclops, but they usually have a horn.
Plus, they wouldn't also leave bones. They would just dissolve into nothingness.
No, they do. They leave bones. Mostly because they already in the Citadel skull box. There's a skull for a Bloodletter and a Plague Bearer.
That doesn't make much sense. Not based on the lore.
I'm not saying that it does, but those exist. So.
Yeah, I guess it could be a Zanger stepping on a Plague Bearer's skull. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
I don't know.
Wait a second. What if that's not an eye hole? What if that's the base of the neck?
Then what's these? What are the teeth?
Maybe they're I don't know.
I don't know. That's what I mean. Like,
I think I'm probably wrong. Yeah, I think I'm very wrong.
But I also don't think it's a Plague Bearer because there's no horn. There's usually a horn somewhere. So I don't know.
If anyone else watching along has any thoughts and they want to chime in on what they think it is, we'd love to hear your guesses.
The only other thing I can think about it is like a vampire, but some kind of vampire thing with the claws. Oh,
that's why I was thinking initially at first when I saw it. I'm like, okay, this is like more undead things that they're previewing for like Flesh Eater courts or something.
But you know what I'm really hoping for? New Skaven models.
It's definitely not a Ratfoot.
God, they need new Skaven models. Sorry. It's like the third book in a row and I didn't bring out any new outside of a character model. Because some of them things are legit from like 4th edition Warhammer Fantasy. If you look at the weapon teams, oh my god. Let me see. But then we have the more recent rumor engine.
Jared says definitely AOS, could be a Seraphon. It could be a Seraphon.
Could be Seraphon.
Yeah.
So they did just drop a bunch of Seraphon, but I was hoping for some skinks. Maybe it's skinks. And then next up we have a gun.
Obviously this is Age of Sigmar.
No, obviously this is obviously Blood Bowl.
Good call. Yeah, Blood Bowl. Definitely Blood Bowl. Yep.
No, this is definitely 40K. Maybe I mean it doesn't look like any standard Imperial issue. It doesn't look like Tau, even though the silhouette that they had up made it kind of look like a railgun.
I don't know. That looks like it could be very Astra Militarum, like a Spec Ops type of lasgun or something.
That's what I'm saying. It's not. It's definitely not. It's definitely not a Xenos. But it's thinking that could be a Kroot.
It's Lumineth. I
Oh,
agree,
it could be
Jared.
Kroot. This could be Kroot. This does kind
It's,
of look like a Kroot, like how the Kroot rifle look.
oh, nah, Lumineth. I'm with Jared on the original idea of
Oh,
Lumineth.
oh,
Can't you
this.
see? Obviously, it's supposed to resemble a bull. I think he's referring to the gun. It was a joke. I think you're taking it too seriously.
Okay, okay. I'm thinking. I'm going back to the thing. Sorry. Anyway, yes, no, it could definitely be Lumineth. No, Kroot, I could see. Or Necromunda, some sort of wacky Necromunda gun.
Well, the only thing with the Kroot weaponry, though, is that they tend to resemble more like muskets. Like they have that weird, like it's kind of like a musket mixed with a gaffy stick type of look into it.
Yeah. No, I get it. I'm just spitballing here. It could obviously also legitimately be orcs. It could.
I guess it could.
Let's
I'm
be
thinking
honest.
sort of.
Every kid is an orc kid.
I kind of feel like it's some sort of Astra Militarum las gun, some sort of like a spec ops thing, like maybe not an assassin, but like a.
Oh, the Kroot Rider is what he was saying. So the Krootox Rider, maybe. Let me see if I can find that model. Krootox Rider.
I love Parmesan and garlic Krootox in my salad. Sorry.
The Krootox, the thing that nobody ever takes. Okay, yeah. Let me pull that over here. Now, this is a literal, like, 4th edition model.
Oh,
But
I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it. Yeah.
so
Okay.
that could be what it is.
You know what, Jared?
Yeah, it's almost always Necromunda if you can't immediately, yeah. Or Warcry on the AOS side.
I don't know. I think that's a pretty good guess right there.
No, that
An
is,
updated talks. Yeah.
yeah, no, it's the right shape.
It's got the right shape. It's got the right vibe to it. It's more or less just an updated. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it could be Krootox. Hey, man, they're finally finishing off the towel.
Yay for that.
I've been wanting them to do more Kroot heavy stuff with the Tau anyway, so that's cool.
Well, it could be. I mean, eventually, I wouldn't be surprised if when the Tau Codex finally does drop, if there's just going to be a whole detachment that's heavily Kroot based. That could be a thing.
Yeah.
And then we have to deal with the all Kroot meta.
Man, you remember back in like 5th edition, I think it was, they had the Kroot army, the Kroot mercenaries army. That was a thing. It sucked, but it was a thing that existed. And it was legal. Kroot reboot, let's go. Yeah, you just need new Kroot models in general. The ones that are here are just old. They're all old. Look at it.
We got new Kroot models. They're in a kill team, but we got new Kroot models.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh wait, TJ.
What?
I'm kind of, you know what? Here is an updated Kroot model from that kill team. I'll send it over to you right now as a message. I'm just kind of farting around here on Google. Where's my messenger? There it is. And yeah. Oh wait, why is it saying couldn't send?
Oh.
Facebook Messenger is being weird. Facebook Messenger is being Facebook Messenger.
Yep, I see it.
Yeah, I think the muzzle hole is the same. The little sight on it is the same. I think this is some sort of new Kroot model.
Yeah, no, that's for once this is like solidly like this is definitely a Kroot. Like that.
The only thing is, I don't know, that picture doesn't have it looking quite so square, but yeah.
This is obviously like a bigger gun.
Yeah, no, obviously.
Yeah, that's so. I think it might be a Crutox rider,
You'd love a
like he was say,
mercenary.
like Jarrett was saying. I definitely think it's a Crutox rider, updated
So
finally.
Jared's also saying he'd love a mercenary armor for Xenos. I guess wouldn't technically Drukari fit that role? They're well known to be mercenaries.
No, the number one Corsairs, number two,
Uh,
Crude are supposed to be mercenaries. Like that's their thing. They're in the Tau army, but they are still mercenaries.
okay, so yes, I should have read your next post, which was you could just include it in various armies would work with the Tau, work with Tau like GSC works with Nizar Guard. Yeah, I would. The only thing I would say about that is, for a gameplay perspective, is that GW did kind of sort of experiment with that with some elements, and I don't think the experiment turned out quite so well.
And the long,
Um,
and the long ago.
yeah, I really don't want to go back to the days of Battle Brothers versus Allies of Convenience versus
Ugh.
Allies of Desperation, that whole system. Um,
Where if you
so,
played like orcs, good luck.
yeah. Um, I really wish they would do something because the Imperium, it's so like the Imperium have access to assassins, which is a problem in some cases because assassins are either so good that every Imperium player has them, or has at least the hot assassin at the time, or they're garbage so no one touches them. I think I think a problem with that is like there's no equivalent that they can include or splash in for the other factions. So
Yeah.
I think it's I don't know. I'd like to see them try and work out something that would be cool, but
Listen,
I just don't see how they fix that issue.
I just want the Jakara back. All right. All right. Anyway, um, let's see what else we got here. Um, oh yes, they are coming out with a new skirmish case, which okay. If those posts are foam, I feel a little better about it, but
So I saw that and I laughed at it and I moved on. I just, especially knowing that they're probably going to charge like $125 or something ridiculous for that case.
oh, absolutely, it's gonna be ridiculous, and it's for one unit. Like, no, thank you. Moving on. I would rather throw my stuff in a box at that point.
I mean, I can share some links if anyone ever wants them. If you ever want to have, hey, Voxel Forge, if you ever wanted to try and
Hey,
build up
hey.
some really cheap but super effective miniatures cases, I can send you some links from stuff I recently bought off of Amazon. Um, I could. I picked up these, I picked up these snap together stacking cases, and I just put a little thin sheet of
Ah,
steel on
yes,
the
you're doing
bottom.
that with the magnets? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It
for a
works.
third of the price that you're paying for that, probably less than a third of the price you pay for that thing. It's yeah,
It's already better.
yeah. You don't have to worry about packing the models in foam when they just don't move.
Yup.
So
Um, all right, let's see. What else did I put up here? Is this the new? Oh, yeah. What are these? Jardlins? Moons of Jardlin?
the arachnorigs.
Arachnorigs. Yeah.
If we go from a big failure to this is a big win as far as model design. I
God,
think
that's
people
cool
are
looking.
sick. Yeah.
Well, I feel like I need to play Necromunda. I will never play Necromunda, but I feel like I should because these models are stupid nice.
I think after this painting season, I get caught up a bit more in some of my models I bought from a more competitive backlog. I might start looking more towards Necromunda stuff to buy and paint and use in painting competitions because some of this stuff is just spectacular.
It's stupid nice looking. They're all fantastic. Look at this like techno bird thing or bat. Just
Technodactyl.
yeah. Like is that the name of it? Because if it is, I'd be
No.
so happy.
Um,
Train box. No.
It's a grapple hawk.
Oh, that's lame. Technodactyl would have been better. But these things. What gets these things? I want these things.
It's probably, for the little bit I know about Necromunda, they're probably Vansar. Yeah, they're Vansar, which is the techno faction in Necromunda.
Yeah, those things are sick. Um,
They kind of look like remember like the old crazy like 90s action toys like the Exo Squad stuff.
mm-hmm.
They kind of look like if you took Exo Squad but stuck it in like the RoboCop universe.
Yeah. Was that the Ash Waste stuff? I don't know about the Ash Waste stuff. Is it under Warhammer 40k? I don't even know where it's at on the site.
I think this is a new campaign that they're doing, the Ruins of Jardlin. Oh, and a plastic arachnorigs. It's right in the title of the article. Bound across the ash wastes in the Aranthian succession. Ruins of Jardlin.
I just wanted to look at the Ash Waste stuff. Okay, yeah, he's saying the Ash Waste stuff isn't great. So it's the grasshopper things. Okay.
I mean, they're cool, and not everything is going to be
A winner.
a home run, but yeah.
Huh. Well, anyway. Yes, these things are sick. All right, next. We'll save that one for next. And where is it? Oh, we gotta look at this boy. We gotta look at the big man himself. I'm pretty sure my brother near soiled himself when he saw this. This thing is sick. They did not have it up on the site yet. I did not see a price, but goddamn.
Well, I think they're still in hype mode, but yeah, that is a pretty damn cool action figure, I will say. So here's a question: would you ever consider buying one of these just to repaint it, or would you, if you're going to spend the money and buy one of these because they are expensive, to just leave it as is? What would you do?
I would probably leave it as is. Those other ones that they make that are not as nice as these, I would paint.
Oh, so Gilliman is out, and he's about 130.
So he's probably about 130.
Yeah, he might even be more because technically you're getting 3 action figures with this one.
Oh yeah, because you're getting the 2 Watchers. So I don't know. And you have the choice of heads.
I know. The helmeted one looks so good, especially that larger scale.
Oh yeah. Fun fact, in the model, technically he doesn't have the Iron Halo on if you put the helm on him.
Oh, really?
It tells you because it can kind of bump it, but you know what? Meh.
Okay. I know we're about to go down and look at the next one. I just want to say the lion with his helmet in this action figure looks amazing.
No, I think he looks so cool with the helmet.
Yeah.
In the action figure.
Yeah.
The actual face one, I might repaint the face, like if I got it, you know what I mean? Like look at even with the hood, like the hair looks a little basic. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I could do a better job than that on the face.
Well, I mean, it's not going to be a huge. I mean, it's for an action figure paint job. It's still very good.
But yeah. Anyway, moving down, we have some Azrael action here.
I think Azrael's helmet looks goofy, at least in this scale. I don't know. I don't like it. I think maybe it's just that classic Space Marine face grill, or maybe you know what it is. I think also his helmet looks too small.
Might also be the angle.
Body. Yeah, it could be the angle too. Yeah.
And then is this Lazarus? Is this supposed to be Lazarus?
It's Primaris, so probably.
Yep, it's Lazarus. He just has his helmet on, like the model should be. Um, it's annoying. And then lastly, Dark Angel's Company Master. Okay, then you get the general one. I mean they're cool. I like them. They all look really cool. Uh, Lazarus's helmet looks the most goofy, I think, because the wings like balloon out, kind of. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess it's like okay. So you look at the lion's helmet with the wings on it. It looks grand. It looks grandiose and majestic in all the right ways.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know. I feel like Azrael's helmet is just like it's kind of like somebody took his face and pinched it in the middle. To me,
a little bit. Yeah. Plus, yes, it's because it has the old Space Marine grill, the where the wings are coming off of. I don't know. It could also be the angle, but yeah, I agree. And then Lazarus just has too much gold going on up there, I think.
I, I agree. Like I would almost want to snap those the wings off of his helmet. I think he would look a lot better without that. He would just look like a badass Dark Angel as opposed to badass Dark Angel with bunny ears.
Yeah. I don't know. I also got to see it from the side, I guess too. But yeah, those just they're too big. They're too big on that one, as opposed to Azrael's, which Azrael's are big, but they don't look this big. Probably because the backpack thing on Lazarus is shorter. You know what I mean? Because his banner on Azrael is a lot taller,
Mm-hmm.
so it makes the wings don't look as big.
So Voxel here is he was just looking at XM Studio resin, and it's like a home down payment. I'm assuming it's a 3D printing thing because I know that you are doing a lot of 3D printing and miniature design. I'm not too familiar with what you're referring to there. If you would like to elaborate, that would be cool.
I was just looking at the stuff on Merchoid. Here is they have a Martius. There is a Martius.
Oh, you better hurry up and click and buy now.
Oh yeah, there's only 10 available. They're probably the 10 they started with. Um, and he's 102. The Dreadnought is 173. Uh, I love the orcs. I love the commandos. The commandos are cool. If they ever come out with a Gaz call, I'm opening my wallet. But who's a High
Did you?
Marshal Helbrecht?
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Okay, I understand what you're saying now, Voxel. The huge resin. Okay, cool. Well, that's a lot of detail. Looking at the High Marshal model. What I'm secret hope is that with Space Marine 2 coming out, we're going to see a lot more Thousand Suns themed merchandise coming out soon because they're the big bad in that one.
Yeah. All right. Then we had 40 years thing. I don't even care anymore. The 40-year thing, now it's all current models. Like, there's nothing, I don't know. Like, yes, it's a cool model, but I don't know. It's bothering me.
Is Vastor a cool model? It's neat, I guess. I
He's,
was never, I was never super impressed by that model.
yeah, he's weird in the story. I don't know. I'm not a, 19, oh yeah, I got that already. Oh, the new Warhammer Day miniature, which I like.
Actually, I do like that one.
The female Votan with the stag for the crest on the top.
If I ever had just like with that being a collector's edition model, like I'd buy that
Oh
just
yeah.
to paint it. I think the Votan Terminator models are very cool.
Yes, I can't wait to actually do mine in the next decade or so. Um, but yes, they are very cool.
It's interesting because usually like painters tend to like shy away from like large flat surfaces. I actually think the model is very interesting because of its large flat surfaces. And
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot that you can do there with color, and I think that gives you a really good opportunity to express some flex some skills in terms of color theory and shading and blending. Plus, if you're somebody who's into transfer, if you're really good at your transfer work, or if you like to do freehanding, it's a lot of great opportunity.
They are super neat, Jared. I agree. I love the Votan. I love the squats. And then we have the Iron Jaws. There's the big pigs. I love the big pigs. Oh, well, Vincey V
Oh,
there.
painted by Vincey V. Yep.
Of course, looking pretty. I just love the big pigs. If I was going to do another Age of Sigmar army, it's going to be these. Um, because I love these. What is this? Iron Jaws? Yeah, Iron Jaws. I love the Iron Jaws. The Iron Jaws are super cool, and I love the big pigs. Also, the cabbage. The
The
cabbage.
cabbage.
The cabbage.
What do you mean by the cabbage? I'm
You
sorry, I'm
don't know
not.
what I'm talking about? What's on cabbage? Hang on.
Is this some sort of squig?
No.
Okay.
Hilariously, no.
Oh wait, is this the? Okay, I know what you're talking about
The
now.
cabbage.
The cab. Yeah, yeah, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, that guy.
The fist dragon.
It's I. Oh man, it's forever gonna be cemented as the cabbage now in my head. Thank you.
It's just, especially when you see the outline of it, it just looks like a
Yeah.
cabbage. But I love this model. It's so cool. And it's one of the earliest Age of Sigmar models, and it's so cool. Anyway. And now back to the other thing we wanted to talk about tonight, whilst we still have time. We have the Golden Demon returning to Adepticon, and it's bigger and better than ever, according to this article.
I mean that's a bold claim to make, but yeah, I'm excited. I've already started the process of trying to figure out what pieces I'm going to be painting for Golden Demon. I actually have the two kits sitting here, and pretty soon I'm going to be starting going through all the prep work. I know my Instagram is not as alive as TJ's is, but I did post a picture today. I ordered a brand new set of Winsor Newton Series 7 brushes, which is my first time actually buying proper Series 7s. I've technically used them before.
Here's the proof.
Yep. I've technically used the Series 7s before because as I learned from watching listening to another hobby podcast. Did you know that the Citadel Artificer brushes that they charge a lot of money for are just Series 7 brushes?
Mm-hmm. I knew that.
Yeah. So if you've ever used the Artificer brushes and you're like, damn, these are good, you would really like the Series 7 because it's pretty much an identical brush, just not at GW markup.
Yeah, slightly cheaper. They're still expensive brushes. And actually, here is the set that Frank purchased.
Yeah, this one I can't.
$130.
This one I cannot generate an affiliate link for, but it's easy enough to find. But it's I've heard nothing but good things about them. I've heard that their tip retention is beyond compare. And yeah, while they are expensive, they're supposed to be. I've paid quite a bit for some brushes in the past. Winsor Newton Series 7 is like the go-to brush for a lot of professional and high-tier painting. If you didn't want to go nuts on getting these Winsor Newton Series 7s, really any high-quality natural hair. I did see them on Blick, Jared. I think Blick was charging even more for the same set. Or the set that they had was like almost a $200 set. It came with 5 brushes. I think. I'd have to double check that, but I ended up going with this one, mostly because I have through my real world professional dealings. I have an Amazon reseller account, so I was able to buy them tax free.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I don't have to pay taxes on my Amazon account because of that. But I'm excited to give them a shot. I've got my 2 new projects here sorted out. I was just sizing up display bases for them. So now this one's the stretch one. I want to try and get 2 models done. Apparently the theme I've settled on is going to be cavalry or mounted models. Again, this is the stretch goal. This is the one I want to get to second if I have time for it. But I want to do. If you can come up and see. Oh, it's reflecting weird. Okay. It's not working. You can kind of make it out. It's a Mosrog Scragbad.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
See if I can put it back here. There you go. Kind of see it. Sorry. Green screen interfering. But I want to do Mosrog Scragbad. I find this model to be extremely interesting because you've got a lot of different opportunities for texture with the mixture of organic and industrial textures there. Even just on Mosrog himself with the cybernetic body parts. And then you've got the, I don't know, I'm going to assume it's like a 6-cylinder engine strapped into the side of his squig.
Yes.
Makes sense. But this is the one I'm going to be starting off with. Like I said, the theme is mounted. Ever since I got into playing 40K and I got into playing Chaos Space Marines, I've always loved this model as an idea. And the fact that they came out with this kit, I was always so disappointed that 40K never got a good version of this. But Warhammer Fantasy at the time, not even Age of Sigmar, got a badass version of this. Most people converted that one into the Chaos Space Marine version, but I want to do Lord Invocatus.
Ooh.
So Lord Invocatus is going to be my first, my next project for Golden Demon. It's going to be a challenge because this is essentially 2 models I have to paint already. Between the Juggernaut and the Lord Invocatus himself, which is why I said Mosrog is a stretch goal. But Lord Invocatus, and I definitely will be doing the Lord Invocatus, not the generic Lord of Juggernaut. It's going to be tough, but I'm going to do it. And if you did pay attention to or read through, oh, I'm so sorry, please excuse me. If you did happen to read through or watch any of the videos that they have here, or the video, I should say, not in videos, but the video that they have here for getting ready for Golden Demon. One of the biggest things is making sure that you have enough time. And I can see me spending 3-ish months alone just on Lord Invocatus himself. Let alone trying to get his Juggernaut done in time, because with all that gold filigree, that's going to be a long time working on that non-metallic metal.
Oh, definitely. See, I don't even know what model I would do. I just don't know if I'm definitely going, so...
Well, I mean, we're effectively heading into a new... I tend to refer to them as a competitive paint season.
Uh-huh.
And I kind of, in my mind, run my competitive paint season between March and October. I start painting now at the end of the year in preparation for Adepticon. Then I kind of do focus on a lot of army-based stuff for ACO, for that particular competition. I like to do something that's non-Citadel or non-Games Workshop. I'm excited to do either another bust for Nova Open next year. I've also got these really awesome scale 75 mil statues I want to paint. And then, yeah, I kind of run it between those my 3 major competitions. And I usually finish up with BFS, Battle for Salvation, which is a grand tournament that's occurring in West Nyack, New York. Highly recommend it. It's one of the best GTs that I've been going to it now for the last 4 years. I'm very sad I can't make it this year, but it's yeah. So I'm trying to prep now, and that's one of the biggest things is just starting to get to work early on those miniatures and try not to rush through at the end. I don't know if anyone else here, I know Jared and Voxel have been chatting with us quite a bit. If there happens to be anyone else in the chat that is into any type of painting competitions or does any type of competitive painting, whether it's just for your local friendly local game store, or if you do try to compete in things like Golden Demon or Open or anything of that nature. And if you guys have any experiences from that, you wouldn't mind sharing.
So I have a model that I had been thinking on for a while. This is an old one. This is an old GW don't make these anymore, and it would have to go into the open because this is a Forge World model actually, and it is a Storm Vermin bust that my uncle gave to me a long time ago.
That's an official Citadel bust.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that they made actually official busts.
Oh yeah, like the tooth, the one front tooth is gone. He broke it at some point, but I could just make it look. He lost the tooth. You know what I mean? Little green stuff in there fixes it. But yeah, it is a Storm Vermin bust.
I would love to get my hands on at some point. I could probably find one if I really wanted to throw the money at it, and that wasn't the problem. I'd love to find one of those old 75mm scale Inquisitor models.
Ooh, eBay, my friend, eBay.
Yeah, eBay.
I mean, you ain't gonna find that Space Marine, but you could find something else. The Space Marine was sick, and
Oh, you're talking about the old Space Marine statue?
No, the Inquisitor Space Marine. There's a Space Marine Inquisitor. There's a Space Marine at Inquisitor scale.
Oh, I did not know that. I've seen the Inquisitor model a whole bunch of times, but okay, that's a rabbit hole that I'm going to have to go down at some point in time. Okay, I need to walk away from Google right now. I'd love to work on something like that.
That was such a cool game too.
Careful, they are really ill-fitting. I wouldn't have been surprised. I mean, I'm assuming that they're probably resin cast, and yeah, I mean, when has Games Workshop or Forge World or Citadel resin ever been well-fitting? So, which is probably the reason why I would stick with if I want to do larger scale stuff.
There's the Space Marine.
Oh, okay. I have seen that before. I just didn't realize that was an Inquisitor scale model.
Yep. 54mm scale.
Oh, they're 54 mil. I thought they were 75 mil.
Nope.
Oh. Yeah, I'm not paying $160 for that.
No. That's why I was saying, I was like, they're not, especially when you're looking at the actual Space Marine guy here. Yeah, nah.
It's a shame that if it's a pewter, that means there's really no way of getting around it, if you catch my drift.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a shame. Well, I mean,
there was also an Arcoflagellant, which was neat.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me, Voxel, that it imploded, considering that sometimes I think Games Workshop or just does side games just to do it. I guess everyone does game just to do the game, but I don't know. I don't really trust Games Workshop's track record when it comes to their specialty or side games. I'm surprised that they've stuck with some of them as long as they have. Like,
I was gonna say they're a lot better about it now, but like, If you were talking in the 2010s, the aughts, yeah, I wouldn't play any side game if I were you.
I mean, look what happened just recently with Aeronautica Imperialis. I mean, technically, it's still kind of exists in Legion Imperialis.
Yeah, I never wanted to really play the aeronautic one. I don't know. I could already see that one just going down real fast.
I kind of feel like they rushed out Adeptus Titanicus and Aeronautica Imperialis as a means to try and capture interest from
Oh
or
yeah.
capture some market share back from like BattleTech and X-Wing,
Mm-hmm.
and then they just kind of decided to move back towards running Epic at the same time. Yeah, well, there you have the box for to say that X-Wing was a much better game. Yeah, X-Wing was a great game.
When all we really want back is Mordheim. God, that's all I want.
It's a shame what happened with X-Wing though, as the game progressed. I think Fantasy Flight just kind of drove that into the ground. They crash landed with that one.
I don't even know what happened with X-wing.
Um, so they realized that they had people that wanted to play the game in tournament settings.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ever thought that codex creep was a terrible thing that happened in 40K,
Oh.
it was real bad what they were doing. Um,
Cause I still see tournaments for it when we go to like the big ones.
oh yeah, there's still a competitive community that exists around it, but it's at one point in time, Fantasy Flights for a brief moment overtook Games Workshop as the most popular miniatures company in terms of sales.
Mm.
And I think they got too hot too fast. And this is just my conjecture, my opinion. I have no data or anything empirical to discuss to go along with this. So take what I say as being purely anecdotal and have your salt ready. um, yeah, Atomic Mass Games. Yeah, because Atomic Mass Games, they just kind of Asmodee just kind of said, you know what, guys, deal with this. Like you now have the Star Wars license, and I think they're just kind of like, okay, uh, let's do Marvel instead. And then they made Shatterpoint. I think Shatterpoint's going to be the biggest thing that they're going to be doing going forward because they have a winning formula with that particular MCP style format. But
And I haven't seen much as far as Legion and Armada is concerned either. So with the Star Wars stuff.
Armada is very similar to X-Wing. Just think kind of like larger scale, but
Yeah.
larger scale, smaller ships. But like to give you an example as to how bad X-Wing got, one of the top cards that you were able to get in X-Wing First Edition was the C-3PO accessory card.
Right.
It was a crew card, so you were able to have certain crew members on certain ships. Like you could have C-3PO like co-piloting the Millennium Falcon, for example, and C-3PO was very good. The only way to get the C-3PO card was to buy the Tantive 4 ship, which was a $150-ish ship to get one little European star, not even Euro card, like just a card literally up this big. So you can sit there and say, I have C-3PO the Millennium Falcon. I win. So yeah,
I would have thought
then
GW was bad with this crap.
yeah, there was some really bad stuff. Like this was back when Rebels was still relatively new and was maybe only the second or third season, and they came out with they released the Ghost for X-Wing, and the whole point of X-Wing was like being able to do secret. It was able to try and outmaneuver your opponent, but when you had ships that could just drift to the center of the table and then just have this bubble of if you cross anywhere within a certain range of me, I get to auto shoot you no matter what you do. It was really bad. It was kind of like pre nerf 9th edition Votan, like the amount of power creep that they had going on in that. Whereas like the namesake ship X-Wing, no one wanted to play X-Wings because they were terrible. So
Figures.
anyway, rant over. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. I didn't know what happened.
Yeah, that's basically what happened. Is the power creep got so bad in X-wing. Again, based on my experience and from what I know, I could be very wrong, and I'm sure that if I'm wrong, somebody will tell me in the comments because it's the internet. Um, but yeah, that's from how
Same
I
with
understand it.
Legion. Okay, yeah, I was wondering because Legion seemed like it was getting pretty big. I was hearing a lot of talk about Legion, and then suddenly died off. Ooh,
Yeah, it's a shame as to what happened with that. But I think AMG taking over for Fantasy Flight in terms of Star Wars license, they're keeping I think Legion and X-wing and Armada and all them on. I would say way more than life support. They're keeping it alive, but I don't think that. I think the heyday for those games is pretty much gone, and eventually we'll just probably go into the life support mode.
yeah, yeah. There's barely any products for Armada anyway. I was just looking at the pages. There's not a lot of Armada.
Lots of good games out there. Initially, GW is a pretty big stranglehold due to their history and size. I think. Um, Games Workshop, I think, has. I'd love to say they have a unique IP, but obviously it's just a mongrel of different IPs that they've stolen from on their own. Um,
They stole it first.
yeah, but I think people have a certain love for Warhammer 40k, and I think it is the IP and the universe that keeps most people involved. And I do legitimately feel that when it comes to plastic miniatures, they do have like some of the best, if not the best, plastic miniatures in the hobby space. There are companies that are very close. I think Parabellum with Conquest is doing a fantastic job with their miniature
They have
range.
dinosaurs. That's
They
literally.
they have primal orcs riding dinosaurs, TJ.
I understand that. Um, but uh, you know, dinosaurs, dinosaurs. Um, that's the only thing that is interesting in that game to me. So, um, but that's just me. Um, what is it? Parabellum games. I'm just pulling it up just to look through. I don't. I can't start a new game, but like I,
It's para-bellum.com.
yeah. Uh,
Oh, we've got
what's
some new.
what's the difference between there's two games, First Blood and the other one?
First Blood is a skirmish game,
Okay, got it.
and then Conquest: Last Argument of Kings is their main tabletop war game.
Okay. Um,
Parabellum also has some of the best resin cast characters that I've ever seen. Like I was, ooh, sorry, please excuse me. I was truly astonished as to how good their resin was.
hmm.
I put together a Wudroon hunter, and I was I was very pleased with that. I mean, TJ, you wouldn't want. Oh wait, I think I just resent you the same picture. My apologies. Try this. She doesn't want to do it. I mean, TJ, look at this army. Come on, you wouldn't want to play with this as soon as it decides it wants to send it to you.
No, I would. I'm not saying I don't. I just, you know, oh god, that's $630. There's a lot in there, but like I ain't got the money for this right now.
I know.
Plus, it's another game. It's just I'm very wary about getting into other games. I've done it before, and it always bites me in the butt. So like, not that the models are bad, not that there's not. I don't know.
No, I definitely picking up because, like I said, I love what Atomic Mass Games is doing at Marvel, and I'm like, oh man, Star Wars Shatterpoint is so cool. I bought my Shatterpoint like 3 months ago, and I haven't even removed the plastic from it yet because I just haven't had the time. So I definitely understand where you're coming from with that one.
I mean, the Brontosaurus looks cool. I don't like the beard, but other than that, I don't know why it has a beard. Um,
It's a
and
waddle.
sure, And then the Ceratopsian riders are cool looking. Um, like listen, I ain't upset with no Raptor riders. Those look cool. They even have feathers. But again, it's just another game. If I'm gonna play a rank and file or kind of game, it's gonna end up being fantasy when they come out with Old World. So
Makes perfectly good sense to me.
yeah, because I have an entire dwarf army sitting in my closet right now that I wish to pull out. So, well, okay, sorry, dwarf, Skaven, lizardmen. Uh,
So getting back on track to one of the original topics we're going to talk about, have you
yes,
participated in a lot of painting competitions or hobby competitions yourself?
unfortunately, not as many as I would like. I also just need something than other than just trying to paint a model to the highest quality as fast as possible, uh, which is my current job. Well, trust me, I love doing this. This I couldn't ask for a better career, but I would like to do some of my own stuff, um, and
Actually, looking
b
at the, oh,
like
sorry, go ahead.
challenge myself a little bit more.
It looks like actually this year they have way more categories than they've ever had. They actually introduced specific categories for the Horus Heresy, which was Horus Heresy stuff was always just covered underneath the Warhammer 40K stuff.
Yeah,
Warhammer Underworlds has its own category. Necromunda has its own category, and so does Blood Bowl.
nice.
Originally, Underworlds and Blood Bowl was just counted underneath Age of Sigmar.
Hmm.
That's interesting. So there's more categories, so more opportunities. I guess that will help um, uh, more people be able to earn more demons for whatever that's worth. I still don't. I still don't quite care so much for the podium system that they have with Games Workshop because, for as much as I'm proud of my painting capability,
Later,
I
Jared.
can't.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, Jared. Appreciate it, buddy. Um, I unfortunately I don't have the ability right now to compete against like Sam Lenz and Vince Venturella and Andy Wardle and all these other big names that are competing in this. So it's really tough, which is why I'm a much bigger fan of the Nova Open and how they handle it.
Yeah. Um.
Like it's like I love Eric Swinson. Eric Swinson is one of my favorite miniature artists. Period. And like I've seen his work. I admire the man. There's no way I'm beating him. At least not for like another 10 years yet.
um. But yeah, no, this is definitely something I have in my brain. Like I said, I have my Storm Vermin bust. I have a couple other models in mind that I would always love to do. So, because I have a plethora of limited edition, special edition models that could use a painting.
Yeah, being a Warhammer Plus subscriber, I'm starting to get a collection of limited edition models that I don't know what to do with.
Like I have this event only Imperial Enforcer who I must say has a doggo, so instantly.
Mm, instant high quality model right there.
Yes, doggo. I would just paint the doggo.
It's a proven fact that adding a dog to anything increases its adorability by 300%.
It's true. It's very true. But yeah, the selection of models and knowing that I was definitely going would help. It's just so much is in the flux this year with little Phoebe
Oh
coming.
yeah, I see. Yeah, with the
So,
baby, yeah, I don't think you're gonna want to be away for a week and a half ish.
like tomorrow's gonna be my first official like full game of 10th. So
Oh,
uh,
oh, that's right. So you're who are you playing against tomorrow?
I'm not playing Mark. I we happen to have a day. He's not available tomorrow, but we're gonna play on
Oh, okay.
TTS. I just am available. Kyle's available. Or I'm gonna go down to Kyle's. We're gonna play.
Nice. I hope you have a lot of fun, man.
Yes, as my lovely fiance is taking the her bridesmaids out, and they're all going to go look for bridesmaids dresses tomorrow. So I get a day. Plus, I need to go see my nephew. Today's his birthday.
Oh, very nice.
My nephew Lincoln is now 1 years old. Um. So Also, God, he's adorable, and he's got two different color eyes. But yes, lots of things in flux right now. I want to go to one of these. I just.
Well, if you're going to do anything this year, I would say, obviously, I would assume that Adepticon is probably out of the question for you, mostly because just the cost of the trip out to Chicago. Um, Adepticon is notoriously difficult to get, and the hotel. They're just the archaic system that they use, on top of the fact that they keep using the same venue, which always sells out immediately,
Mhm.
and the hotel blocks are just. They apparently announced the hotel blocks like
I
a
just
little
always
over a
went.
month ago.
I always went to Sonesta Suites. Just they're like down the street, and they have the big suites, and they're really nice, and that's what I would go with. That's where we
Uh,
always stayed.
I like staying in their second location, the Hyatt, which is a really, really lovely hotel to stay in. It's technically their spillover for extra events that won't fit in the main building or the main hotel. And like I said, I missed the hotel block booking rates because they just, I don't know, like I was signed up for everything. I don't know how I missed it, but um, their their block rate was like $140 a night, but they only had so many rooms reserved at the block rate. I
Yep.
missed it.
Yep.
And then when I went to go try and book my room, they're like, "Oh no, you can't get this rate. It's booked out." And I'm like, "Okay, well let me try booking underneath my Hyatt membership." And it's like $250 a night.
Yep.
Great.
At that price, I would just rather go to Sonesta, and like you can get a. Sometimes I think they have a shuttle, or you can just, or I would just rent a car at that point, or if I'm driving out, depending on what I'm doing. Sometimes I drive out. Um,
I prefer to drive out. I mean, it's a 14-hour drive, but it's I think I'd rather do that as opposed to put my stuff on a plane and run the risk of it getting damaged.
mm-hmm. So yeah, if you're taking anything out, you put it in carry on. I don't care. Um, but yeah, I mean, if you're driving out, then I would just, oh no, you've got to go, you got to drive 5 minutes. Nesta Suites was the way to go, I think.
Well, we'll see what happens this year. We're actually trying to organize the local group now to get ready to go to Adepticon. So I have to see how many people want to go this year. Last year we had the big group of us that went. A handful of the group was not. They had a good time, but it didn't quite wow them the same way that it wowed some of us. And I think only half of us are going this year. So I think some of our local friends and teammates who went out to Adepticon last year was expecting more of like an ACO type of experience.
Yeah. No,
More focused, more
that,
focused on the tournament.
nah, Adepticon's not like that. It's one of the few big ones that's not. The main attraction there is Golden Demon and the team tournament. That's
Yeah, Adepticon is definitely like the way I was compared the two. Like you have Adepticon and you have the Nova Open. Adepticon was a convention first that happened to grew to have a tournament scene around it, whereas Nova Open was a tournament first that grew to have a small convention around it. I think you go to either one based on different reasons. Now, though, I'm kind of partial to both for each of their own reasons.
Oh
But
yeah, no. I mean, listen, I've gone out to Adepticon and had a really good time, and all I did was play in the team tournament. Like, I've also gone out and went to full competitive where I played in both. I played in the singles and I played in the team tournament. But
you,
like,
sir, are a masochist.
yeah, no, that sucks. I ain't doing that again. If I'm going out to Adepticon, it's team tournament and painting competition or one of the myriad of other games to play. Like I just enjoying myself. I ain't going out to Adepticon to run myself into the ground. Uh,
Yeah. After the last two Adepticon 40K tournaments, I'm There was a lot of promises in terms of higher quality terrain, which did not manifest. Um, and that's even with Games Workshop support, which is sad because I've seen, like, I being a Nova judge and having to go through that whole setup. I've seen what Games Workshop is capable of providing for terrain, and I just don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Um,
Adepticon killed it for me when I went out, and this is an 8th edition, and I had my Blood Angels list versus 9 Hive Tyrants, and I was just like, and the board was forests and hills.
yeah,
No, thank you.
like I said, this year if I do go to Adepticon, I plan on playing in anything. I might go for more of a Marvel focus as opposed to a 40K focus. Still going to compete in the Golden Demon.
Oh
That's
yeah.
the main
Well,
that's the
listen,
main thing for me.
if Adepticon ends up being the big major tournament where all you do is you go out and you play the alternative games or the team tournament or something like that, which I have to say, I have to recommend, if you guys can get a team together, the team tournament is legit fun. It's nothing that Adepticon does that makes it fun. It's everyone that plays the team tournament. They all know. There's like a couple of teams that are there to win, and then there's everybody else, and
Right.
it is drunken fun times is what it is. That's
But
all it is. All the hooting and hollering and the wogging and all those old timey Warhammer players, kind of fun stuff that you always hear about, the beer and pretzels and stuff like that. That is the team tournament. That is.
well, yeah. When it comes time to buy my badge and ticket and everything, I'm seriously going to be reconsidering what I'm going for this year. So
Yeah, that one. I just saying that from me and from my Warhammer friends, that the team tournament has always been the main draw.
mhm.
Um, and then it's like, I guess I'll play the championships.
Yeah, I'm just not. A part of it is too, like, I'm not vibing on 10th as much as I was on 8th and 9th. But it's also just the experience of the tournament. I love 40K. I love playing in tournaments, but I just don't love playing in that tournament. So.
Yeah, nah, they never do very well. I don't know. The rest of the event's great though.
Oh yeah,
Will not mock the rest of the event. You can have a crappy part that is the tournament, but like it's not the only thing that they're doing.
I love the vendor hall. I could just roam the vendor hall like for 2-3 days at a time
Oh yeah.
and just be amazed by everything that's there.
Ugh. All right. Well, it's looking like we gotta get in about that time.
Yeah.
Um. So
Anyone have any other questions, any comments? I know we still got a couple of viewers left here in the channel. I know Jared had to get going, but if there's any other burning questions you might have, any advice, tips, feedback you guys want to get before we sign off for the night, now is the time to go ahead and post it up in the chat. If not, I don't know, what are your plans for the next week, TJ? What can we look forward to potentially for next week's stream?
next week's stream. Well, I will certainly have a whole bunch more stuff done. The Land Raider, which is sitting right in front of me, that'll be done. Most of this Jedi Hunter pack will be done, and yeah, I think we're gonna yeah.
So, yeah, I'm working on a Malekith model here that I'll probably post some pictures up. It's nothing fancy. Again, just more me just messing around with dry brushing, using those new Artify brushes, which I've got to say I'm actually really quite liking. Very happy with them.
Oh yes, I've been using the heck out of those.
They're really, really good, especially for $30.
Oh yeah.
I'm just getting some really fantastic results with them.
I agree. For $30,
But
super good buy.
yeah. All right. Well, That's all I have. If you have anything else, TJ, I think it's time to bid everyone adieu.
Yes, we would like to thank you guys once again for coming and joining us for our weekly stream. We'll be back next Thursday. Once again, if you need anything painted yourself, I am here. I am with TayJayPaints. I am TayJayPaints, and I will paint your models for you. Visit my site at TayJayPaints.com for more information, and you can see up to date with all of my goings on at TayJayPaints on Instagram and Facebook.
My last closing comment here is I will be reaching out through the different Discords I'm a member of. If you want to find me on Facebook, I'm super easy to find, Frank Delikas. You'll know you find the right person when you find the Facebook profile with the Armin on it. You can find me on Instagram, also message me there. But we are going to be soliciting for a lot more for the next couple of streams for more miniatures and armies to review.
Oh,
So
yes.
you can find me on Facebook. You can contact me there. You can also contact TJ directly. Or you could be friends with me on Discord of some sort. I mentioned Facebook already. Or you can email what's our email again? I can't remember.
My email?
No, the email that we use for
Second
the
Founding?
yeah. Oh, I can't remember what the email is. Oh my gosh.
Hang on.
Why am I having such a brain fart here?
It's just Second Founding PA.
Oh yeah, secondfoundingpa@gmail.com.
Yes.
Jeez. Wow. I just made the email address.
Welcome to my life. The brain farts are real.
Yeah, secondfoundingpa@gmail.com. You can contact us there too. So, but other than that, thanks so much, guys. We appreciate the questions and the conversation. It's been a lot of fun.
Oh, yes, as it is every week. And good night, everybody.
Good night.